What's up, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mouthful TV, where we got real people talking, having real conversations about real shit. Okay. But before I go any further, I definitely have to shout out A Taste of the Culture. Make sure you visit atasteoftheculture.com and use our promo code Mouthful for 20%, 25% off your subscription. So make sure you guys check that out. It's a dope subscription service. You can get Black owned liquors, wines, bar accessories, all of that. So make sure you guys check that out. And so from here, y'all see we got a lot of people here. So I'm gonna let them do what they do.
A lot of people on this episode. Hey, hey, okay, thank you, Des. Hey, y'all already know who I am. I'm doing Small Business Tuesday this episode. So just remember, we do Small Business Tuesdays every Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time on our IG Live, where you can showcase your small business, get your shit out there. So this week we have a special guest, AJ. I'm sorry, we have AJ. You know what, AJ? I've been looking at your IG all week. Is it a taste of AJ or
dose of Chef AJ?
A dose of Chef AJ. My apologies. I literally just looked at it before we came on, but I may have had a drink earlier. I apologize.
It's okay.
So she's based out of Dallas. Very excited to have her here. She was actually on a Small Business Tuesday segment a while back. So I seriously, if you want to showcase your business and then hit us up later, you could be on the show. Thank you so much, AJ. Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So my name is Ayanna Jones. I am the owner of Chef AJ. I'm a small catering and private chef company. I actually travel out from Dallas to California as well, doing private events for weddings, just small parties, things like that, just real small. And I also have a spice line where I have developed my own recipes for 7 different spices that I've made, and they're all organic and vegan, and they have no pesticides, none of that fake stuff in there. They're all real natural ingredients that are in these seasonings. I have jerk, all-purpose, beef and chicken, just different type of flavors for different dishes. And I also do meal prepping and meal kits for people who want to get in shape and things of that nature.
Okay, cool. So as a cooker myself, and just kind of thinking back, this may be I don't know. Let me ask you this question. How old were you when you cooked your first dish and you said, okay, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do? What was your first dish? Because I know I ain't no chef, but I know I can still cook that dish. So what was your first dish that you were like, okay?
Chili dogs don't count.
Okay, so my mom actually is a very good cook in the family. And I always just kind of grew up watching her make all kinds of different dishes. She also comes from a different background. She grew up in New York, so she grew up around Italians and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and things like that. So she knows how to make all that type of food. So I've just kind of been, trained by her to make all these foods. And she fell sick when I was about 12, 13. And I had to start cooking for the family. And so I made fried chicken, mac and cheese and some greens, just normal, thinking it was normal. And my little sister was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. And I was like, okay, I didn't think it was gonna be that good, but okay, for my first time, that's pretty impressive. Okay.
Right.
And then I started cooking dinner a couple more times, and every single time I cooked dinner, it was just friends and family were always like, oh my gosh, you cook pretty well.
Or you
And
put
then
your
I
foot in.
decided, yeah, so I decided, I said, oh, I guess I can make a career out of this. And so I went to culinary school, graduated, and then started Chef AJ, and I've been doing it ever since.
Oh my goodness, like that's dope.
Yeah.
So, like, what culinary school did you go to? Were there, and I know you mentioned, your mom falling sick, like doing that as well as culinary school. Like, how did you kind of manage that?
To be honest with you, because I was doing culinary school, I made that my only priority to go to culinary school. So I was still able to kind of balance being able to take care of her and my family as well as doing culinary school. So that balance was a little tough. It was a little tough, but thank God that she's okay now, and she ended up getting surgery, and so she's good now. But I am thankful for her being around to show me just different skills and different things in the kitchen that I didn't learn from culinary school.
Right. Shout out to
So
mama, because they know some hidden gems that a school cannot teach you. I promise you. My grandmother, she knows some hidden
yes,
gems that school cannot teach you. So shout
yeah,
out to mama.
yes, yes.
Nice.
But yes,
So,
I went to the Art Institute of Dallas. Actually,
okay.
forgot to add that in.
Okay. Okay. And
Yes.
so you're based out of Dallas as well as Cali. How did you make that transition?
So I actually have some family out in California, and it was just like an opportunity to just kind of branch out business wise, because I had family out there, and so there was just opportunities to where I could go out there and cook for different clients from my family and their people that they know. And so once I started doing that, once I started doing like multiple events, and also I had friends in Dallas that were doing events in Los Angeles and San Diego. And so it just kind of grew from there. I put my business on Google My Business for San Diego, and I just started booking clients out of there. And so now I travel back and forth. I actually was just in San Diego at the beginning of this month. I just got back, um, and I do like big or small events out there, and it just grew. And this has been within the last 4 years. Honestly, this is very recent, doing California events, and hopefully I can branch out and do other states as well.
Yeah, I remember when you came on to small, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to jump in. But yes, I remember um you saying that you were out in Cali when we did the small business the first time, and I think it was back in our second season when we really started doing the small business thing.
So
And then
I
getting
have a
more organic.
question.
Okay.
So what is your social media handle? Where can we find you?
It's on. I have a Instagram and a TikTok. It's at Dose of Chef AJ, like a dose, DOSE of Chef AJ.
And is that where they can find where to like buy the spices that you sell and things of that nature?
Yes. So the link is in my bio. You can also see what like events that I'll be popping at. I do monthly events called Clouds and Canvases, and that's where I showcase my food on a monthly basis. So you can come there and come purchase food from me. You can also click the link in my bio, and you can find a way to request personal chef services. And you can also see my Shop Chef AJ website, and that's where you can buy the spices.
All right, so one more question before we end the small business segment. What advice would you give to an upcoming chef? Not an upcoming business owner, not like a upcoming chef. Because there are going to be people, following in your footsteps who want to be, where you are. What advice would you give them?
I would say trust the process, and also make sure that you're building your own lane. Because when you follow other people's footsteps, you might not end up where you want to be. And so creating your own lane and just like actually doing research and finding out what exactly that you want to get into and what's best for you is the best advice that I can give. Because whenever I was first starting out and becoming a chef and things of that nature, there was a lot of things that I didn't know. And there was a lot of things that I thought that I knew that I could do. And I wasn't able to do these things because I was trying to follow in what other people were doing. And it wasn't working for me because it wasn't my lane. That wasn't what I was supposed to do. And so it's good to just find what you're good at and find what works for you. Maybe one thing that you do is the best thing that you could do. And like maybe you might make cakes really well. If that's your lane, stay in your lane.
Don't try to fry no chicken if you good at baking cakes.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, AJ, again, thank you so much for coming on to just kind of showcase your business, your talent. We love to see it. Excellence. You've already provided us with your handles. You want to come on again, girl? Just come on again.
Yes. I'd be more than happy to come back.
Of course. And again, everybody, do not forget that every Tuesday, you can showcase your small business. Mouthful_TV on IG. We have a small business segment every Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. AJ is gone. Love this segment.
Well, let's just at this point,
get
let's
into
just get
it.
into this topic. So this week's topic is love, what love looks like versus survival. And so that question was presented because of the fact that a lot of times in Black families, we see like these relationships that are strictly like survival. And that causes us, well, I can speak for me. I feel like I don't actually know what love looks like. So I find myself going into relationships or building relationships based on like my idea of what love is because I never seen it. So I guess my question would be like, what do you think? Because here's the thing. I heard this quote, like one of the titles of the reality is podcast, Mr. Anthony down here. And I want everybody to kind of introduce themselves before y'all answer the question. It's like your listen, because it's a lot of fake. But I'm gonna give them the opportunity because I was ready to get into it. I've been holding this in all day. Okay. The title was like your partner should be an extension of you. And I feel like a lot of times that because we have these unrealistic expectations of relationships that we see on like social media and TV and stuff like that, like they don't really know what it means to actually survive in these relationships because that could look a lot of different ways. And so before we get too deep into the conversation, I'm gonna let's start with Josh. Josh, introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and tell me what love looks like for you in a relationship.
Okay, Josh Wilborn, host of the Music Impulse podcast, one half of the Shot versus Smile podcast, 1/4 of the Inaudible Ruckus podcast. And for me, with the love versus survival, I actually said the same thing. I don't really know. I didn't see love growing up, and I never really thought about it until about 4 years ago. My ex-fiance, now at the time when we broke up, I remember having a conversation with my dad about it, and he said one of the reasons he thinks that it didn't work out was because I didn't know what love was, and he's like personally, like as your father, I'd have to say that's because you didn't see me and your mom together, you didn't really see a good relationship with like your mom's guy, so and it really hit me like, damn, do I know what love is? And I never really thought about that, and that was what 27, 28 at the time, and I had never thought about that. Damn, I probably really didn't love her. I was just she was
going through the motions.
Yeah,
that's like you going through the motions of what you thought it looked like.
Yeah, because at the time I was like, oh, we've been together about 3 years now. I'm seeing like my friends starting to get engaged with like fake girlfriends or like college girlfriends and all that, and maybe friends having kids and everything. I'm like, okay, I feel like we should be in that good space,
It's that
not
time.
really, yeah, you know, not really knowing that at the time we really weren't in that good of a space. We were arguing, having different issues, but it was like, whatever. When I proposed, I was like, oh, I feel like, once we propose, that'll be the end all be all. But it really was what ended the relationship because she came and was like, Josh, we're not supposed to be trying to get married. She literally told me the only reason she said yes was because we were around my friends.
You know what?
I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry.
You gotta respect. You gotta respect her for that, because I do the same thing. Because I wouldn't want to embarrass a man who like literally sit there and pour his heart out. You gotta respect, her for that at least, even though y'all didn't work out.
Or maybe y'all can have a long engagement and figure it out.
We tried.
Wow.
We did
See,
try,
at that
we
point, you just trying to survive. See, that's what we're trying to do here.
we did try that for a little while. Then just at that point, didn't really go through. But yeah, to get back to the love versus survival thing, I think growing up mainly with my mom, I think it was basically a mix of both. Like my mom was just trying to survive. She had her own like past issues, with drugs and alcohol and stuff. But I know she loved like me and my little sisters because she wanted us to. She would always say, "I want y'all to do better than what I had." Like get involved with different stuff. Like I was in band, educational talent search, and just she wanted us to do stuff outside of just the home. It was like I want y'all better for me. That like just because y'all see me doing this, don't do what I'm doing.
That's real though. That's real.
So I basically would say I was in a home, but living with my mom and my stepdad and all that. I would say I had a mix of love and survival.
That's dope. And so, same question for you, Anthony. Like, what does love really look like for you versus, watching people in their relationships, whether it's friends, family, whatever the case may be, versus do you think they're actually loving each other or they're just surviving?
Y'all actually hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure. So I'm Anthony Roberts, host of The Reality Is, owner of Roberts Media Group, and we kind of work in marketing, media, and podcasting. For me, I was definitely raised on the way I kind of took the question was, were you raised on love or survival as far as learning how to love and build something from that? So I was raised on survival, but like he said, like Josh said, I didn't really see my mom and dad together. I didn't see love. I don't know what love looks like. But I tell people at this point in life, I'm 38. So even if you haven't seen it or you didn't see it in your household, it's a lot of TV shows. We all know Love Jones. We all know other shows that we've seen that could teach us what love looks like. I think for a man, for the most part, we learn how to be, we really know about love through survival because we're raised to be protectors, providers, all of these things. We really don't have room for error. And sometimes we don't express ourselves or show vulnerability because we may seem weak in a woman's eyes. And then I think a lot with social media, the way everything is going, even if you want to love a different way, a lot of people, we follow what we see on TV. We follow our friends. We even sometimes choose to date someone based on what they look like. And I feel like at a certain point, like you're wasting your time dating off what somebody looks like. I've learned that for myself. I used to be one of those men who dated off aesthetics. You date off aesthetics because you want to have arm candy. You want to be, you want to be acknowledged in society based on having money and having a woman and certain things like that. But I think even if you didn't, like I said, even if you weren't raised on love, you still have time to learn that. That's what therapy is for. That's what I know. I talk to a lot of my guy friends, like we shun people who act like cheating or stepping out on your wife is cool. A lot of times with guys, we come into these communities, we have this locker room talk, and we kind of support this or the shitty behavior for other men to women. So I think whether we were raised on love or survival or not, we all know better. We always hear the saying, you know better, you do better. But I also think it's trial and error. And for me at 38, I'll say and be honest, I'm just now really understanding my love language. And it took some failure, unfortunately, to get to that point. But I was raised on survival, but now I feel like I know how to love, and the way to love for me is being vulnerable. Like if I feel a certain way, to say that thing, not waiting for her to say that thing to me, but stepping out and actually saying that thing. And I think in the Black community, we're mostly raised on survival because a lot of times we won't say certain things, or women have been hurt by men, and the wife or the mother teaches the son or the daughter, hey, don't do this, don't give too much, protect yourself. And I talk about it all the time from white people's perspective. Like, even if things are going wrong in their household, they try to make those things work, or they will stay together for their kids because they know they need to see that to know what to take on to the next generation or to build their family. Even if it doesn't work, they still have like a blueprint of seeing what love, quote unquote, look like, even if it's faked. We don't deal with, I mean, we all know we dealt with relationships where we like, you know, fuck this, I don't want to be with him, I'm done. You know, we got social media, we got all these dating sites to where it's easy to give up on somebody because you know you can go to this platform and find something else. Nobody
Absolutely
anymore.
Why are you preaching, Pastor?
But, you know, for me, I just think that we get past our own egos and actually just kind of go within and really follow our hearts on some of the things. Well, just as well as we look for negative things or red flag, we can find green flags in people too.
I also listened to that episode today too.
Green flag.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, and that was, listen. So Sheeta, same question. Introduce yourself. Answer it. Yeah. Listen.
Go ahead, Sheeta girl. My name is Sheeta, also known as Lady Sheeta. I'm one half of the 3-Piece Podcast. Check us out, episodes every Monday. I'm a product of marriage. My parents are married to this day, have been married 42 years, I believe it is. And me and my sisters are a product of, you know, a family household. What love looks like to me is, you know, we ride together, we die together, bad boys for life. Like, I got you, you got me. You know, whether it's you got money, you don't got money, I front you. You know, if you go get a BBL, you gonna change my gods for me, too. You know, hold me down.
What?
I don't know, but I think about it often because I have 3 sisters and a cousin that's like a sister to me, and 2 of them are married and the other one is in a relationship. I'm the only single one. So fellas, holler at me. Holler my DM. I'm the only single one, but I'm a hopeless romantic also. And then a long time ago, I had a conversation with my sister, and I was just like, niggas don't care if you cook, if you do this, woo, this, that, and that. And I got thinking, I was like, none of you hoes don't cook. I'm the only one that cook. And y'all got wiped up. So I don't know. It like Anthony said, it's trial and error. You know, there's red flags, green flags, you know, just whatever works for you.
And I feel like we have all these really, and I'm speaking to Anthony when I say this, like we have these unrealistic expectations, like Love Jones, like who's out here doing that? Like really, who's out here putting their best foot forward like that?
But you know what about Love Jones, bro? Like, I watched the movie the other day, and it was the part when Lorenz Tate, you know, he pursued her after the record store scene. And when I was watching it, I was like, yo, if I met one of you girls in a record store and I showed up at your house and I got your address off the check,
Creepy.
like, yo, call the cops on this thing.
Right.
It's creepy.
Movies, you're not gonna get that either. They're just kind of painting a picture. What I took from it as an adult, though, I was like, you know, I may not show up at a girl's house, but do a little too much sometimes. I think we're so scared to do a little too much for being talked about, but a lot of guys, you know, we pursue with the wrong intentions. But I think if your intent is right and the woman feels that intent and you go about it in a adult way, or, you know, a way that doesn't make her feel creepy, you know what I'm saying?
It's the art of courting.
It's
a lot of men don't court.
And a lot of people don't know how to do that either.
Exactly.
Online dating, man. Online dating and pornos. People don't.
And then a lot of women don't know how to receive it. They say it's creepy. So
they go back home by themselves and get on an app if somebody approaches them in public. I don't understand that part, though.
No, I would definitely say it was creepy if you got my number off a receipt and showed up. Like, it's not to do. That's just not the thing to do. I don't care. Like, please don't do that. I got guns over here. Don't do that.
Why you need to tell the people who you are?
Hi, so I'm the other half of 3-Piece Podcast. Like Sheeta said, episodes every Monday. I'm a little different. I guess I have a different viewpoint than what most people were saying. I was raised by a single mother, but that has shown me, that love really is like unconditional and it's not judgmental. So the first thing I've learned about love is that you can't judge how somebody else loves or whatever. And I say I was raised on love, but it's a mixture. It was definitely a mixture of love and survival. I think she gave me a pretty good mixture so that I'm realistic with my love expectations and I don't put too much on people. I think a lot of times we put a lot on people, expecting them to love you the way you were brought up or the way that you saw it, and that's like the downfall in my opinion.
And based on like everyone's different. Go ahead, Anthony.
I was just gonna say they have a saying where they say, and I wonder if y'all believe this. They have a saying where they say women should be with a man who loves them more than you love him. Do y'all agree with that?
Do you agree with
Absolutely.
that?
I absolutely believe that. Yes.
Yes, you need to love my dirty stinking drawers.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Oh my.
I do. It works
But
that way because I think the relationship works better that way because the man is more, I don't want to say the wrong words and make him feel like weak, but the man is more flexible. They're more willing to, compromise in my experience if they love you more. If not, you just gonna have this tug of war and you might as well just call it quits because no.
But I mean, what does that look like though? The man loving you more than you love him. Like, is it at that point you're in the relationship for like a certain reason or a certain like you have an agenda, knowing that you love him more than he loves you more than you love him?
It's like, when somebody like you, like they're applying a little bit more pressure, they're giving a little bit more effort than just saying, oh, I like you or oh, I love you. Like when a man likes you more, that effort and everything is gonna be, now I can show you how I really feel. I feel like is what a lot of people like, okay, like it's gonna be reciprocated either way. But when a man likes you more, you just feel a little bit more of his energy.
I'm on the fence about that.
What you think, Jen?
So for me, in my experience dating for these past, how old is my daughter? She's 5. So I've been dating, I haven't really taken on anything serious, after she was born. But I don't want nobody in my skin, bro. Like I need you to do, and I've said this on the show before. I don't need you in my skin. I need you to be your own individual person.
Yeah, I feel like you just
scoot over. Get in the camera. We only see half your face. Get in the camera.
Right. Like definitely don't be like overbearing.
So yeah, no, not
but
not overbearing. Like it's
your own self. I get it.
So no, I don't need.
I have a life outside.
I don't need a man to love my dirty drawers. I want him to love me, for who I am, and I'm gonna love you for who you are, and we're gonna keep it pushing, and we're going to move forward, and we're gonna grow together. I didn't see that growing up. Again, and I've said this on the show before. Me, I grew up on seeing people love off of survival. My grandmother and my granddad. I mean, it's a whole thing. Okay, it's a whole thing. It's the whole story, backstory. But the one line that I stuck with from probably 3 or 4 till 23, 24 was, we argue and fight because we love each other. And then I got tired of this shit because I would start arguments. Because I thought that was love.
So you was toxic.
So that's all. That's literally all I grew up around. Yes, that's all I grew up around. Arguing, fighting, like just, take that for what you want it, for what you want to see it as. And I implemented that into my life, and that was, we're on the topic of love versus survival. I think that a lot of couples back then thought that being intent, like an intense relationship, was love, when really it wasn't, and they were just trying to figure out, I guess they thought that was a survival tact to like have this.
And I feel like they like are one and the same. Love and survival, especially in relationships, like they kind of coincide with each other, because I feel like once you enter the space of actually loving someone and being in love with someone, like you continue to change, you continue to grow throughout that time. So if I'm still the same person that I was 5 years ago, like there's a problem. So I feel like at some point your partner is not going to like or agree with the person that you may become at some point, like because your mindset changes. So we have to learn how to survive with this person that we're growing with. You know what I mean? Because especially if in the beginning we put on this facade and put forth our best foot, right? You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to give them all the best qualities of us, but once you start to spend time with this person, like you've made the decision in your mind, like you're in love with this person, you love them, but there are some qualities about them that you don't like. So at this point, you're going to have to survive with those qualities.
That's why I always say love is not enough.
It's not.
It's not enough.
I don't think so either.
You don't think so? What more do you need than love?
If a love is not going to keep you in a relationship for 30 plus years, love only, it's not going to keep you in, like, because you're going to stop loving somebody. People are going to change. Your opinions are going to change. Like how you're going to continue to grow and evolve every so many years. So, you have to relearn this person. Yeah. So with that, it's a lot deeper than just love to me. Like
my dad said my mom is his soulmate just last week.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
But again, but he's saying that because they know how to get through it. They know. Right. I'm pretty sure there's more than love with them.
Right.
Right. Like I'm pretty sure love there's so, and it's probably some stuff that you don't even know, Sheeta, that they don't went through, and you'll be like, well, damn, and you'll probably find out over the years, and you'll be like, yeah.
Like our grannies,
you know what I'm saying? So
30 plus years,
it's not
love.
You said what?
Did you ever hear them? Did you ever see them like arguing, or did you ever see or
my
hear
parents?
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, I've never really seen my parents argue.
Oh my God, that's good.
That's
good. That is
like
my mom. And that's the type
my mom might have a side conversation with me and my sisters and say, your daddy, something like that, but I've never seen them in front of us bickering, going back and forth.
Because they probably communicate so
that ain't none of y'all business. Y'all don't need to see that.
Yeah. And I think that's how it's supposed to be. Top tier. And that's how I want, and that's why I take my time. That's why I haven't really been serious with anybody, because I have kids, and I like whoever I do end up with, like I need them to see me happy all the time. I need them to know that because hell, when I start dating them, before he even meet the kids, nigga, you gotta give me peace first from day one, and then we can transition. And so I know we can have a relationship with the kids, or you can have a relationship with the kids, and we can blend this in. I never want my kids to see me argue with anybody, because I went through it, and not my, like, yes, ma'am. Here we go.
But I really do think that obviously the idea and the concept of relationships or love has changed drastically, like over time. Because if you look at like your grandparents' relationships and your parents' relationships into the idea of relationships now, they're drastically different. Because for the longest, I didn't even know that my grandparents were not like still married. They were still in the house together. They still lived together. Like I know my grandma and my grandfather to be together, and the whole time they weren't even together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, and then you have these references of like women saying, what was Sierra's prayer? Like, we don't know what these people doing outside of Instagram and Twitter and all of these things. So it's like, how do you balance what's real and what's not, and how do you really, really understand truly how to love a person?
Do you have a conversation with them? Be transparent with these people. Hey, my credit score messed up. You gonna roll with that or not? Okay. You gonna work on me to fix you gonna work with me to fix it or what? Okay. I got some childhood issues. You gonna work with me through this? Because I'm trying to fix myself, because you can never be 100. That's my problem. That's why I'm not in a relationship.
I'm about to say, come back.
Because I feel like I have to be 100% together to be in a relationship, when I'll never be. I don't think any of us will be 100% together. But if you find that person that you can be transparent with and be, hey, I got these issues, you gonna work with me or not, and vice versa.
Who is over there? Who do you keep looking at?
You're talking to him, whoever the future him is.
That's what I'm talking about. So no, this I'm talking to you. So I feel like, as far as the past generations, the love and survival thing, I would hope that we don't have to go through that with this generation. We just need to be transparent and be as honest as we can with the person we're interested in. Because if we're honest, just like with just anybody, if we're building a friendship, girl, or say, man, like, this is going on, like, and if they're willing to just be there by your side and work with you through that, I don't feel like we have to do that survival thing anymore. You know what I'm saying?
My last, just to piggyback off of what you said, Jen, my last relationship, like, we got along and decided to get into a relationship, but then later on, I found out he was very irresponsible financially wise. Mm-hmm. So that was something that I had to deal with, and I kind of just like dealt with it. But now that I think about it, like, it was survival for him. It's like you living off of me, basically.
Oh. And that's the thing, like,
baby, I struggle with these finances. I need you to show me the ropes, baby. How do you do it?
And that's all he had to say.
And that's all he never said. That I had to find out later on. I said, "Oh man, this nigga ain't good with money. God damn."
Yeah. That's all he had to say. And
so I have a question for y'all. So do you consider somebody that was raised in a two-parent household to be raised on love, or do you feel like
absolutely not?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
I was raised in a two-parent household, and
not necessarily, no.
It messed me up more. So
no, some two-parent households, you get the product that you get from two-parent households is worse than a single parent that raised them, right? Because a lot of these people, they subscribe to stay together for the kids or stay together for the bills, and it was just a full
shit show.
Yeah, full blown.
Yeah, shit show.
So you could have been raised by the healthiest, emotionally healthiest parent, single parent, versus two toxic people who stand together so they can keep the lights and the water on. No,
right.
And I was just about survival. To say that, especially
and they fight in the middle of dinner.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with women not always having the opportunities that men had. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like women had to make the choice of being with a man and growing to love him, but also making sure that he can be the provider. You know what I mean? So it's like, because especially like, for instance, my grandparents, like, if they would have broken up, my grandmother wouldn't have had any job experience. She wouldn't have had an education. You know what I mean? Like, she wouldn't have had those things that she would have needed at that age in order to be able to provide for herself. So you have to make that decision to survive based on your lack of sometimes.
Yeah, I've met someone who said that they had never heard the word "I love you" from neither one of their parents. They're like, I just grew up just not hearing love, and their parents not even saying "I love you." I'm like, what? Your parents have been together like so many years. They're like, nope, I've never heard my parents say "I love you" to each other. But I guess assume that they happy. But then I've met someone who, she was like, hey, my mom died when I was young, and my dad was all the love I needed. She's like, he was my mom and my dad. She's like, that's why Mother's Day and Father's Day. She's like, I appreciate my dad every year. He get both them days.
And sometimes I think that's based off of the person, if they're like emotional people, because my parents have never just always said, I love you. Like my son, he's 10. I tell him I love him throughout the day, every day. And that's because I don't really remember my parents saying it every day to me. So I make sure that I say it to my son.
I feel like it just depends on the person.
Come on, mom, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I know you.
It depends on the person, because I heard I love you all the time, and I would never, react to it. I would never say I love you back to my mom or, my stepdad. But with my kids, I always tell them, I love them. And so I think it just kind of, that thing, I think it just kind of depends on the person.
Yeah, because I'm not that person either, because I feel like my love is implied. Like I don't have to say those exact words, but my actions should show that I love you.
Some people need words of affirmation.
Yes, their love language.
Love languages.
We need to love people in their love language, not ours.
What is everybody's love language? Mine is acts of service.
All of them.
I love words of affirmation and quality time. Those are my biggest top two, and then gifts.
Mine's is acts of service. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture, but Chad, if I don't ever have to tell you to take out the trash, then I know you love me.
Yeah,
I know me.
Take the trash out.
Mine is physical touch. Touch me. Touch every part of me.
Mine is quality time and words of affirmation.
What is yours, Josh?
Yeah, quality time and words of affirmation. I need you to tell me.
Yeah, I need to hear it.
Oh, okay.
And
what
then
about you, Anthony? What's your love language? Because he's quiet.
Touching words of affirmation. I feel like I hear y'all talking about like having kids and so on and so forth. I always tell people, if you have your kids, I'm sure you love your kids, Jennifer. I'm sure you love on them. I'm sure you give them words of affirmation. If they crying, you hug them. And I tell women all the time, men may not say it, but men want the same thing. Just an adult version or an adult package.
Of course.
Talk to me about it. Let me know.
Let me tell you something. I love telling my man. I love telling my man, damn, you fine.
The same thing.
Damn, I love.
Men want the same thing.
I love that. I love to tell my man, damn, you look good today.
So, what are your love languages?
Touch and words of affirmation.
Okay.
I'm not a big talker. Honestly, you really don't have to say nothing to me. Just touch me.
Just touch me.
Just lay there and rock it back. Huh?
That's it.
They're like, but be quiet.
Because that's when you mess it up when you start talking.
That's not that sounds like lust. That's not sounding like love. What's going on?
No, it's love, because if you touch me right there, I definitely love you. But I don't need to hear it.
I have another question, y'all. How would you raise your kids now based on how you were raised? Would you raise them on love, survival, or both? And this is if you have kids or if you don't have kids, you can still answer the question.
Both. Because there are going to be times where you are with your partner that you love dearly. And there's going to be some times where things are going to get hard. Can you fight through that? Can you fight through that, and not in a toxic way? Can you get through it? Can you survive the struggle that you're going through? Like, don't matter how you raise. I don't care how you're raised. You have to become your own person. So the person that you become and the person that this person has become, we all join together and create this love thing. How are y'all going to get through this? And if you do have kids, they're going to be looking at this. Do you want your kid? I feel like hard times shouldn't lead to a bad or toxic situation. I feel like with communication and just work, like you have to put in the work. No, I don't care if it's financial, mental, whatever the case may be. Like, It's, are you there for that person? Do you know how to deal with this person during this time? And before you get into a relationship, you should be able to know that. But yes, it's love and survival for me. Like, I want my kids to know that even though, you know, whoever that is, I already got kids, so whoever that is, you know, I want them to be able to see, like, and it doesn't matter. I don't care what you say. You know, eventually, you know, I will be in a relationship and they will have a father figure, a consistent father, like, you know, in the home. And I want them to see us love properly, love through a struggle, be able to talk to them about what's going on, because we know how to handle it so well and we know how to communicate that with our kids. So I want my babies to be able to see me with my partner through survival and love. They go hand in hand to me, because you can't.
They really do. They really
go
do
hand in
coincide with
hand.
each other. Because I know for me and my future children, well, child, because I think I only want one.
Me and Des gonna have a baby together, y'all. Me and Desmond gonna do this to have a baby.
Listen, don't ask
You
me
got
about
it, baby. You're gonna have to bathe in some Fabuloso first.
Oh,
But
So outside some honey pie.
See how you do me?
the
not honey pie.
The lavender kind.
I use honey pot. I do use honey pot.
Love a honey pie. Shout out to honey pie.
Anyway, about me and my future
Black
children, because this was about to go left. But I believe for me and my future child or children, I may have multiple. You know, like Jen said, they do coincide with each other. I feel like we all take bits and pieces of what we got, like the positive parts of our relationships, and then also what may have lacked, and try to add that to, you know, what we teach our children. And I feel like that's what's going to end up happening with me, which is definitely a mixture of love and survival. So even though I didn't hear the words, I knew that it was implied, you know what I mean? So it all depends on what my child needs. Like, you still have to be that parent to determine what your child needs in order to feel that completely. So for me, I probably wouldn't say the words, but if my child ever comes to me and says, why don't you tell me you love me? Then I'm going to work towards making sure that they get what they need out of that.
Well, I got these lights. That means I love you. You got electricity, don't you? That means I love you.
Des, you
got
definitely gonna
clothes?
tell your kids you love them. You're definitely gonna say you love them when you're looking at your face. You be like, I love you, little me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
I probably
it's a game changer.
because I got baby fever. Like, for the past year and a half or so, I've had baby fever real bad, and I've never been an emotional person. So I be looking at videos on TikTok of babies, and I just be like, oh, like,
With my son, I would definitely be both. With my son, he's an empath, and I'm a real nigga, but I'm an empath too. So we're in touch with our emotions. So I have to teach him a lot to not act off of his emotions all the time. And communication is key, and just kind of you know, think before you just act on things, because his polo feelings be hurt by everything.
With me,
you gotta
with
teach that
mine,
man
I'm
to
just gonna show
survive.
more affection. Like I said, I knew my mom loved us, but we were not, you know what I'm saying, a very affectionate household. She would tell us, you know, here and there, but you know, me and my brother were talking one day. You were like, do you remember hugging mama? You know, and when we was growing up, did she hug us? And we was like, no. And if we did, she would be like, oh, y'all getting mushy, get off of me, like that. So I'm working on with my kids, you know, being more affectionate. I tell them I love them all the time, but just showing that affection, because that really does have an effect on your relationships when you grown. Because I still be wanting to dap people up, like, we're not gonna hug now. Get out my face.
See, I like, because I'm not much of a hugger, and that makes sense because I don't feel like I've hugged my mama. And I don't like hugging people. That's probably why we never hug, because I never want to.
And that's a thing too. A lot of people don't like to hug because they think it's transferring energy.
Very much so, and a lot of people be musty. That's the main.
I don't like people all up on me.
Yes.
But I love to hug. I love to do it.
And that's real. And so I really and really enjoyed y'all, and I really appreciate y'all for joining us today. Because there's so many of y'all, and it's so good to hear like the different dynamics and perspectives in these conversations. So definitely shout out to all of y'all and appreciate y'all for joining us today. Jen, take us out of here. Because I'm hungry.
Now, I think Desmond had something to drink today because we ain't even did the word of mouth.
And we're not going to. We're not going to do that today because I'm hungry.
You should have had some cheese and crackers before the show.
Because then that would have gave me the bubble guts. Then this show would have been real short.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, all right, y'all, I'm out.
But Jen, take us on out of here and we can let the people go because it's hot. I'm hot too.
Okay. All right. So y'all, thank y'all again for joining us. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to A Taste of the Culture. The website is a taste of the culture.com, where you'll get a 25% discount off of the monthly subscription with your Black-owned wine, spirits, whiskey, tequila, bar accessories, all of that. And don't forget to follow us on all the platforms, IG, Mouthful _ TV, YouTube, Mouthful TV. We have a website, Mouthful TV, Twitter, Mouthful TV. Don't forget to follow us, man. And then again, 7 o'clock. Wednesday, join us tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Every Wednesday, our episodes air. What else am I forgetting?
And then join us at the after party on Instagram. Once you finish watching this, go to Instagram and we can talk about it.
It'll be around 8 o'clock. Instagram live. We'll be here to just kind of chop it up again about this topic. And don't forget Small Business Tuesdays, every Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all, again, I really enjoyed everybody. Come back again. Peace out.
Thank you.
And bye.
Bye.